Yeah, good morning. So I wanted to jump on here to make a quick video discussing about the Bill Cosby situation. Now, those who know me know that I make some pretty uh, definitive statements, and I make them because through research and through just looking at a situation, you can know um, that it's going to be uh, correct. And we have now a situation where Bill Cosby has been put in prison, and many black people are confused, don't understand. I heard about a poll that said 80% of black people polled said that he should not have went to prison for 3 years to 10. And generally there is this feeling amongst black people in the United States of deep sadness, somehow some sort of a fear. People don't really want to discuss about everything that went on to get to this point where now one of our icons has been sent to prison. And that's what I want to discuss. Now, I have said some pretty bold statements, and one of the statements that I said was simply that 99% of all black people's problems would be solved. 99% of all black people's problems with the United States can be solved if they move to modern Africa. And, this, uh, no one that I have talked to, and I've talked to many people that have been able to get around this point. You know, you have to realize that you are not an American. Mm. In fact, any blacks that are living in the United States, as I have also said, are Negroes. You are not Americans. You're not citizens of that country. Okay, yeah, you have a passport, or you might have your, ID. Oh, what am I saying? This guy, I've lived here all my life. You have lived all your life because that's your choice. But you never really went out and lived in another country. So you don't know how it would feel to be treated differently. And you would not know how to react upon being treated differently. So unless you have left the United States, moved to another country, then uh, this is the case. And now that you see that they can bring down somebody of a stature of a Bill Cosby, what can't they do? That's really what the mind is. What's going on in black people's minds. If they can bring down Bill Cosby, what can they do? And we all know that the verdict was racist. We all know that there was no reasonable truth beyond a reasonable doubt. We all know this. We all know that there's a force that was going for him, and that force won. The same way that force went after O.J. Simpson, and that force won. And we as black people don't have enough power because we don't have enough unity to stop such a force. And we don't have enough power. That means economical power. We can't hire lawyers to go head to head with white people. So, yeah, inevitably, what you feel is they can do anything they want to do. If they came after me, I could not win. If Bill Cosby can't win, how could I win? So when they call you to go to court, you just almost lay down and take it. Because you know that at the end of the day, if they really want you, they're going to take you. And I'm asking you people now: is that the kind of country? Can you say that's my country if they can just do you like that in so-called land of the free, home of the brave? They have the weight scales of justice. They're saying that the country is, fair treatment in the justice system. No, you don't have that. So you're actually lying to yourself, believing that you can uh, live in the United States and be just like everybody else. Black people, we are not like everybody else in the country. We have been abused mistreated, oppressed, and economically sabotaged for 400 years. And make no mistake about it, take away all the emotional factors. If the Caucasian decides that he's going to make sure that his job is to make sure that you don't have money, that you don't aspire into power, economical power, then you're going to run around like you're running around, you know, hand to mouth, and at the main, and that no education, and hand to mouth, no education, then you don't even know what is happening to you. You can't even understand what is happening to you. So, like I said, if you have moved your ass to, if Bill Cosby had moved his ass to Africa, and I don't mean Africa, I mean modern Africa, in a major city, in a major metropolitan complex like Nairobi, like in Nigeria, like Lagos, not Ghana. But he would have had a lot of backing, and he would have had his money would have been 10 times more if the. But I understand that the United States made a law that said that if you're rich and you go out to live out the country, you can't take your money that you made in the U.S. with you. Check that law out. Yeah, they tax you very heavily if you try to take all your assets out of the country if you're rich. Which I don't understand that. If you made the money, then that's your money. But at the same time, there's ways to get around and start investing in that in another country. Uh, and then when the time is right, then you. But as far as waiting to the last minute and say I'm going to jump ship, no, the United States has already cut that off with new tax laws that say no, you're not going to leave without leaving 2/3 of your money in the United States. So that's what I'm saying. You cannot expect uh, to wait to the last minute and then decide you're going to jump ship. Now, in Bill Cosby's case, Bill Cosby decided that he was going to stay in the United States, so he was going to be a Negro there because he felt like that's the best country for him. He said many times that he wanted to talk about black people like this, but he never mentioned about they should move to Africa and where these things wouldn't happen to them. Safe, where your children could grow up in an atmosphere devoid of racism. And this is the main point. Racism is not some hatred of people. Racism is economic suicide, and this is a clear. What happened to Bill Cosby is a clear example. Now let's take Russell Simmons. Everybody knows Russell Simmons, who creator of Def Jam. He started to get the same treatment that Bill got back in the day last year, but one. And he sold all his assets and moved to Singapore. Now, before he was uh, before he was accused of a crime or arrested, he saw the wave coming and he packed. Now he's living in Singapore, where there's no extradition. There's no treaties for him to be pulled back, taken out of that country and being brought back to the United States, and he can live out his life. And both Bill Cosby and Russell Simmons emphatically denied that these things were true, that these things that had happened. And but those powers that got Bill Cosby simply because he stayed in the country uh, can't get Russell Simmons because he left the country. In fact, you see, the powers, it's not even worth the powers going. All they can do is ruin his name in the United States, saying he ran from justice, blah blah blah. But the man has never been convicted of any crime. He's never been charged with any crime. And before he was even charged with a crime, he left the country. So you're going to say that that means that he's guilty? No, it means that the system is so corrupt that even if you're not guilty, you're not going to get a fair trial if you're black. That's what that means. If you're not going to get a fair trial and you're black, when they come saying, okay, we're thinking about arresting you, we're building a case on you, then you're just like, I'm out. Before he can get even to that point. But Bill Cosby, not only is he in jail, but he has got a hefty lawyer bill. A lawyer bill is who knows how much it is. I mean, lawyers today, they just can be ridiculous. OJ still paying for his lawyers. So I'm saying people that are out there, you Negroes, you people that don't have passports, you people that don't think that America is the best place for you, you're feeling bad now because Bill Cosby has gone. But I have told you 2 years, 3 years, even 4 years back, this is going to happen. And now that it's happening, you want to sit there and you want to look all teary eyed because Bill Cosby has been taken out and he was an icon. And let me just give you another uh, piece of prophecy. It ain't over. It's gonna get worse than that. Now that Bill Cosby has been taken down, your prominent leaders, your prominent entertainers all have a choice to make. They have a choice to stay in the United States and live in fear of them being the next victim or moving. Now you can move to Singapore, okay, but see, that's like who do you you're still going to be targeted as a minority. But if you move to modern Africa, you know, skip all of the nonsense about the Chinese taking over, the West is going to take over, all that, and then and then skip all of that. The fact of the matter is that the modern Africa is growing, booming, and it's going to be booming for the next 50 years. So let not fall for the propaganda, the mass media propaganda. They're saying that the Chinese are taking over the power plants in Zambia. That was a lie. You see, I'm clearly telling you that was a lie. So you see, there was just big propaganda that they brought out, and they've been doing that. The Chinese have never invaded any country in its entire history. Can the United States say the same thing? No. So you can automatically see that the propaganda is based on the thinking of the European Caucasian. So this is the issue. And modern Africa is the place to go. It's waiting for us. I have lived here. And I can tell you personally that if you come and you have the right mind, you want peace of mind, you don't want to have to deal with that, you don't want to be looked at as some sort of foreigner, you want to not be treated like a minority, then you should come to modern Africa. Oh, but if we're black Americans and we go there, we'll be a minority. That's not true. Modern Africa is built up of many different type of tribes. There's so many tribes. So the tribes get along together, whether whether one is a big tribe or a small tribe. At you as different. They don't look at you as some sort of minority foreigner. The way the Caucasian looks at the black man in the United States 400 years later, still doing that. No, you just be treated as a regular person, and you should be thinking about um, moving to modern Africa for several reasons, which I have put in an earlier video. And this is the thing: all our black leaders are talking about, staying in the United States. Even they are criticizing Africa, which is lying about Africa, saying that it's not good. That's not true. And unfortunately, because of all the lies and propaganda, unfortunately, the only way you're going to know if it's true is if you come and see for yourself. Many African Americans have done that. Many black people have done that. Many Negroes have left and come to see Africa for themselves. I feel sorry for those that go on tours to Egypt and go on, holiday tours at the Masai Mara instead of coming and start looking into where they can settle, what the home life is, finding people that are, that have families, and then seeing how they raise their children, and looking at the lifestyle and seeing how they can fit into it. But for those people that I know that have come, settled down, they're very happy. They might complain about this and that thing, but at the end of the day, they are not going back to the United States. And this is my main point. So the things that you have in the United States now are in modern Africa. So it's like you can't miss anything. And I'm here in modern Africa, and I can be informed even quicker than people in the United States of whatever goes on daily. So I can be walking anywhere in the city, and my phone can ring, and I can be talking to my relatives back home. So it's not like it's an issue of you go somewhere and no one can see you. And most of the time, you don't even really see your relatives. A lot of us that still happen to have some sort of close ties with relatives. But look at your life. Look at your life. Your family structure, is it strong? Can your family members support you if you get into trouble? If they can't support you when you get into trouble, then really is that a family? Where are the black communities? Where are the black communities? If you don't have a black community, how in the hell are you going to be talking about I'm black? You see what I'm saying? This is the tragedy of it all. All these things are disappearing. All these black people are becoming less and less in number. More and more blacks are being put into the prison system. More and more blacks are being harassed by the police as if to remind them that they are not in their own country, actually. And this is the case. So I clearly want this video for people to realize that don't wait till the last minute. Modern Africa is there. Make your 1 year plan, make your 2 year plan, correct your assets, and then make your move. You won't regret it. And believe me, all this nonsense that you see on TV, all this problems, or all the things that go on in the United States that deal with us and black people can be removed simply by an airplane flight. Once you land into a modern African country that you have already picked, that you have already got contacts with, and have people that are willing to help you get around, then your problems are over. Your problems are basically over. Now, I'm not going to say that it's heaven, but believe me, living in modern Africa for me is better. It's like heaven compared to living in the United States.